Hey everyone, it's Alex here from Carnivore for Life. It's Tuesday evening and it's another live stream. Tonight I'm going to be speaking to a UK carnivore. He started a channel a while ago. We've spoken a couple of times on YouTube and he's got a great story to tell. So I'm going to bring him in now. Evening,
Hi,
Carl.
Alex. Hi,
How's
evening,
it?
Alex. How are you?
I'm fantastic, mate. Thanks very much for coming on. I was just
Pleasure.
saying we've had a couple of chats before, and you're from the UK, so we'll be able to understand each other's accents, hopefully.
Yeah, well, I
Yeah.
worked in Liverpool for a little while, so I got your accent fine. So,
Yeah, cool, great stuff. As you know, I've got a habit of rambling on, so I think I'm getting a bit more relaxed on the interviews nowadays. But so what I'll do is just do us a favor, Carl, introduce yourself and tell us a bit more about yourself, and then we'll go into Carnival.
okay, I'm Carl Day. I'm 57 years old, or young, I like to think. Very much brought up. I'm the youngest of seven boys. My mum wanted a girl every time. So when I was born and they told my mother she had a seventh son, she went, "Oh, for fuck's sake." So obviously that was my introduction to life, and really I've seen the funny side of it ever since.
Wow. So where are you based at the moment?
I'm based down in Ipswich, Suffolk, sleepy
Yeah,
Suffolk.
yeah.
Soon to be
It's
back in the Premiership and replace Everton.
now, come on. I did like you before that. Uh,
No,
yeah, the way things are going, I think we could be
well,
losing a few more points. It's quite scary.
but how can you be penalised for the same period? There's no
That's
logic to it. All right, anyhow,
it's
this is not a football chat, is
Yeah.
it?
Well, it's the politics of football, isn't it?
Mm,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So we'll ask some personal questions as we go along. Obviously, I'm going to ask you some bog standard questions. Obviously, I know a bit more about you because obviously we're on a UK WhatsApp group, which is great.
yeah.
Paul from UK Carnival Guy. I'll give him a little shout out, guys. So check him if you're not already a subscriber. And obviously, if you're not a subscriber to Paul's channel, it's on on Carl's channel. It's on
Yeah.
the ticker at the bottom, guys. So check it out. He does some good shorts, some cookery stuff, which I like. And he's a bit of a Sir Galahad as well. So I'll talk about that later. So my usual bog standard questions at the beginning, Carl, are when and how did you find the carnivore diet?
Right. Well, I think like a lot of the people that end up going on the carnivore diet, I had a battle with weight. So obviously through my teens, I was quite athletical, played rugby, football, did judo, did some international competitions for judo. So I was a very fit guy. But obviously, as guys discover alcohol, women, and life, it kind of piles on the weight. So I spent probably 30 years converting from judo to sumo unintentionally. And so basically, I turned 50 and I was clearly overweight, unfit, not the person I used to be, or my brain
Mm,
told me who I was. I tried all sorts of diets. I think we've all been there. We've all done the slim fasts and, the various different fasting diets and
yeah.
some of the crazy ones as well. Just after I turned 50, I decided to try go vegan. So I went vegan for about 3 months, but realistically, the third month I was cheating pretty much because I was so hungry.
Yeah.
Yes, I did lose weight. Did it improve my sleeping? No. Did it improve other ailments that I was suffering? Not really. But I did lose weight on it, but I just couldn't stick to it. And then by sheer chance this year, I saw the famous Joe Rogan interview of Jordan Peterson that a lot of people refer to, and at the time I laughed at it. I thought, well, that's not
Mm,
possible. You can't do that. But the type of person I am, I'm quite academic in terms of research and all that. So I did my own research, and I then discovered the Dr. Anthony Chaffees and the Dr. Ken Berries of this world, and then I come across Carnival Soldier, who the language he spoke registered with me on so
yeah.
many levels that I thought I'm going to give this a go. So I turned to the wife and said, I'm going to give this a crack. I'm going to go for a month, and that was on the 20th of June last year, 2023. Um, and then basically the journey's just got better and better and better. I'm sure we'll go into more detail about it, but within 3 months, I'd lost 53 pounds. I was down to my weight when I was competing at judo at 18, and I had a whole um, massive improvement across my health in
Yeah.
many ways. From
Can I ask you a question?
Yep.
What's your fighting weight then when you were 18?
Right, I used to compete at just under 90 kilos because in judo you do it in kilos. So my
Yeah.
competitive weight was just under 90 kilos, and I was smart then because anything over 90 kilos was the open weight, and you end up fighting
Right.
like giants. So I got down to just under 90. Well, I'm now at this moment I'm 86 kilos. So and that's partly because I've been on the line diet in January, and I've sort of tuned in
Yeah.
quite better on that front. We can talk about that later.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
yeah, I got up to 121 kilos at one time, which is, I believe, 17, 18 stone mark.
Wow.
And I'm only 6 foot tall. So I was at that point obese, and I was bordering on clinically obese. I was 33 BMI. I had high blood, well, not massively high blood pressure, but my blood pressure was above where it should have been. I was pre-diabetic. And the concern of diabetes was major for me. My father was diabetic. My grandfather was diabetic. His father and his father were all diabetic. All died,
Mm.
with the exception of my father. All my other um, that relation all died in their 50s. And obviously, I've already touched on my age. My father, fortunately, with insulin and modern medicine, got to into his 90s, but he was not a well man for the last 40 years. And
Right.
diabetes, he went blind from it. So it was always a fear of mine. And having 6 older brothers, and one of my more older brothers is now diabetic, so the alarm bells are going in your head. So it was a major issue. But I've now reversed that.
Yeah.
I'm not pre-diabetic. My blood pressure's at a normal rate. My resting heart rate of a teenager. It's honestly, it's ridiculous. If I wasn't living it, I wouldn't believe it. That's the results I've got. Sorry, my bulldog's just come in and he's chewing my chair, little
Yeah.
bugger. Yeah, yeah. So I can't
Yeah.
I can't say enough positives about it. It's just been life changing.
Yeah. So we have a similar story on the weight gain. Sorry, the scale victories, and that seems to be a common thread with everyone I interview or everyone I follow and watch. And that definitely leads on to the other. It has an impact, obviously, on your mental health because you're able, and your physical health
Yeah.
because you're able to do more. And so I never ever dismiss the weight loss because I think it's really the platform for where the others come from. So yeah, definitely a very similar story, mate, and it's amazing to hear about the diabetes too. Reversal. That's incredible.
So,
Um,
so the
so
other thing about
question.
the weight
Oh yeah,
almost
carry on, carry
becomes
on. Yeah,
the weight almost now becomes secondary or thirdly to me now.
yeah,
It's all the other benefits and the improvements that I've had now
yeah,
take priority.
absolutely.
Weight was the initial reason, but it's now not the reason, if it makes
Yeah.
any sense.
That seems to be the trigger though, doesn't it? Because that's
Mm.
what fired me up in the first month. I'd lost about 14 pounds. Michelle, my wife, she is a tough nurse. She will never give me a compliment because I'm so she calls me a typical Scouse lad. I fall off the wagon dead easy. And as I say, I've documented things that have happened to me in the past. And so when I say easily led, I'm easily tempted
Yeah,
on particular foods and drinks. So it definitely is the platform. And as I say, it's good to hear that you definitely got that sort of good start to it. So do you think you started because of diabetes issue, or was
yeah.
it the weight, or was it a combination?
It was a combination of the fear of the diabetes was a major thing playing on my mind.
Yeah,
Another area of concern was I knew I needed to lose weight because my snoring was progressively getting worse, and it was affecting our relationship.
yeah,
It almost got to the point that I'd go to bed, and by between 1 and 2 o'clock, the wife would nudge me, and I wouldn't even think about it. I'd get up and go straight to the spare room. It was just like an automatic thing, and it's what we did.
wow,
Um, but within 2 weeks of being on carnivore, my snoring was less. Within a
yeah.
month, I completely stopped, and today I haven't snored at all.
I mean, that must be like a dream.
Yeah, then you sleep better.
Yes.
And then, so it's a knock-on effect. It's everything about. And the other thing I found is, in a very short period of time, when I used to wake up, I used to wake up like a sloth, you know, like, oh God, got to get
Yeah.
up, got to do this, got to walk the dog. All that. Now it's like the dog hates me because I'm up at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. Come on, we're going for a walk, you know, and he's like, oh God. So it's just the energy levels that you get is just phenomenal.
Yeah. Do you feel like it's not really happening sometimes? I always think I'm in a dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, as I said, if I wasn't living it, I
Yeah.
would not believe the results that it has done for me.
Yeah.
It's
Absolutely.
incredible in such a reasonably short period of time. If anyone visits my channel, there's a couple of interviews I did with a nephew of mine. He saw my very first
Yeah.
post and did his research, went on it, and his life has changed. He had major back issues. He had lots of surgery on his back, and he was massively
Mm.
overweight. He was nearly 20 stone.
Wow.
And you see him now, and someone, funny enough, literally commented on one of our YouTube posts tonight saying they've seen both and they can't believe it's the same guy I'm interviewing.
Mm. Yeah.
And
It's just
it's
incredible.
incredible changes it brings about.
Yeah. Actually, before we carry on, I forgot to mention at the beginning that we're doing a simultaneous live stream tonight. So,
Yes.
guys, if you are one of Carl's viewers or subscribers, please hit the like button. I learned that from
Okay.
Dave Mack. Hit the like
Uh,
button.
yeah.
If you got any
Well, you and
questions, sorry.
I, we're still learning this technology, aren't we? So
Well, yes. I mean, you're never too old to learn, and I keep saying that to Michelle. That I
every day's a school day.
Well, it's funny, isn't it? The more we do these things, I'm quite good at navigating around StreamYard now, which I never
Yeah.
was. It was just all science to me, or it blinded me with science. But I think you just got to keep doing it because, as I say, I like yourself, Carl. We definitely want to get a message out there. It's in your
Yeah.
heart, and you just want to share it. So, yeah, any guys, please, if you're not already following Carl, please check out the channel. I'll probably show it on the screen before we go, but it's worth watching. His shorts are really good as well. Sir Galahad. uh,
I'm going to have to post up what the BBC did, what you're referring to, because it's quite a funny
yeah,
story.
please do. Yeah, it is.
I will.
I watched the whole thing and I thought I wish I could
Yeah,
have actually shared it tonight, but
yeah,
I'm not Kerry Man. I'm not very good on the tech, or Larry
yeah,
from Carnivore Soldier. Yeah, and obviously anybody who's going to watch the replay after tonight, guys, please, if you got any more comments from me or Carl, stick them in the comments bit below when it's not live, and we will do our best to get back to you. Well, we will get back to you.
yeah.
So yeah, so interesting start, classic story behind what happens to guys of our, should we say, a little bit older. And it's just sort of reassuring to me that we're obviously on a similar path at different
Mm.
timelines. So we know why you started. What was your diet like before you started Carnivore? I've got an idea what it was, but tell us anyway.
Well, I would say, if I was honest, because of I was working and bits like that, I would say 6% of my meals were takeaways. So it
Yeah,
was the Chinese, the Indian, the kebabs, all the McDonald's, all those various bits and pieces. I was very much a lover of Guinness, and obviously other alcohols. But Guinness was my go-to drink, and I would quite comfortably go out and drink 6 to 10 pints with some mates and whatever. So, um, and part of my story later will explain what Guinness done to me in that respect. So,
mm,
um, I had, I've tried to follow the low fat, healthy 5 a day, the whole pyramid scenario, and all I did was get bigger and bigger and bigger.
yeah,
So it doesn't make any sense in your head that I found the more fat I ate, the more weight I lost, and it's things like that you just can't compute. It's bizarre, and it was
yeah,
interesting because after the 3 month where I'd quickly lost a lot of weight, I then went through a phase where I was craving fat more than I was the protein. And I went for about
yeah,
nearly 3 weeks of eating brown butter, almost like freezing, making brown butter, freezing it in ice cubes, trays, and then popping them in like sweets. So I was like Wolvers, toffees or whatever they were.
yeah, yeah,
Um, and I was finding that was great. Then I've gone away from that now, and I'm back to sort of a normal. But it would have what I believe in talking to certain experts in these fields is that my body had lost so much fat so rapidly, it needed fat to maintain
Yeah.
whatever it was doing. And once it got that adjustment sorted, it then didn't need it. And so, an expression I use is listen to your body, not your subconscious head, because your subconscious head wants sugar, wants quick fix, high carb, all that, where your body knows what the organs need and all that. So if you listen to your body, so I've now got to a stage where I don't always eat every day. I normally have one meal a day, which will be a couple of steaks or a couple of high fat burgers that I've made myself.
Yeah.
But there are days where I unintentionally fast because I'm not hungry. Now I'll drink water every day, and I do drink quite a lot of water. But there are times where, like yesterday, I didn't eat at all. This morning I got up and I felt a bit peckish, so I had a cold burger I'd left. Um, well, the wife had left basically. That she'd pinched one of my burgers. And then I've only eaten a few hours ago, and I'm fully satisfied. And
Yeah.
before, I was breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks in between, and something late on as well, and was always picking and eating and all that. That's gone. I've stopped being a picker.
Yeah.
I was terrible for it.
Yeah. Ditto. Much further on than you, mate. But yeah, ever since I probably, I don't know, started work in my was it late teens, early 20s? Breakfast, snack, lunch.
Mm,
When you're in your 20s and 30s, obviously with your metabolism and everything, and you're doing sports and everything, no problem. But when I hit 50, I retired the same year, which was probably a crossroads for me. And that's when it all started to go downhill, as I've documented. So
mm.
uh, it's very, very common. And I think what we're doing is we're definitely going to be ambassadors for change, hopefully. Okay, right. Let's share some pictures of Carl. Okay, Sir Galahad. Right, here we
Yeah,
go. Just bear with me a second, guys. Okay,
no
so
problem.
here we go. I'm just going to
Right.
put
So
myself on the yeah. So I'm just going to
yeah,
put myself on the bigger screen so I can see this. I'm
yeah,
going to go back a bit. Hold on.
yeah. I was going to say because that's yeah,
Yeah, you can hold my hand here tonight, mate. Okay,
no problem.
so
Right.
I'll
So this
introduce
was
you. No, I was going to say I'll introduce you by saying, "Who is that guy?" That's not you. I mean, I know you're on a journey and you're is it 12 months or whatever, but that is not you. That is some guy um, who's posing for a darts championship.
that was me in May last year. That is a
Wow,
picture in May last year. There's our puppy
wow,
Donald, the
yeah,
bulldog, and he didn't like it because he couldn't fit on me. Every time he tried to climb on me, he'd slide off.
yeah,
You know.
wow,
So that was me in May.
wow. That was May 23.
Yeah,
So you looked happy and content. Um,
yeah, because I was
and the
sitting on
dot,
a sofa doing nothing.
yeah, watching TV. All right. So what was your weight then, do you think, roughly?
I would say I was about 120 kilos in that picture there. So
Wow.
I've still got that t-shirt, and it now looks like a night dress on me now.
Yeah, absolutely. Should put it on one
Again,
of your shorts.
yeah, yeah. This is early June. As again, you can see I've got that traditional beer keg
Yeah.
body shape.
It starts about there, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah. And if you look, and this is interesting. My legs and arms never were fat. I don't carry fat on my legs, so I felt because of my judo days, I
Yeah.
was muscular, but obviously I was just carrying the weight in the middle. If you look at me now, my legs are definitely 50% the size that they are. So obviously within the muscle tissue that I had, there was obviously a
Yeah.
lot of marbled fat within that I didn't
Wow.
realize I had. I assumed I was just muscular from my judo days.
Yeah. Yeah. Just mention about your shoes as well, or your feet.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm 6 foot tall, but I growing up from the age of about 15, I've been size 14 shoes, so 49 European or whatever they are. So and I have as you can just see in that picture, I've got very wide feet rather than long, but they're so wide that I could only get
Mm.
in 14s. Rarely got into a 13 that was a wide fitting, but was really tight and couldn't wear them for long. So I used to have to pay a few £100s to have my shoes made because
Wow.
the shoes you can buy in the stores at a size 14 are you look like Herman Munster. You know, they're just like big blocks. So, and trainers just make your feet look ridiculous. So,
Yeah, yeah. Wow.
so
Okay, there we go. Sorry.
yeah,
Yeah, I
no
mean,
problem.
just on that as well. I said in one of my videos, I put my baseball caps on. You know, when I've had a bad hair day,
Yeah,
and it must have been about maybe 6 months. I pulled it out of the wardrobe, put it on. It was a golf cap, so it was just a standard one size. It was an XXL off Amazon, and I put it on, and it went over my eyes, and I went, "Oh, I've got the wrong cap on here. This, who the hell is this?" My head had actually shrunk, and I never thought that you put weight on the top of your head, but you clearly do. And I was
yeah.
looking at the cap, going, "It's definitely the same cap." I put it on; it looked like a little boy, you know. And I was thinking, "This is crazy. It's I'm losing it everywhere." And as you say, it almost this fat just seems to dissolve, you know.
Yeah, well, as you said about my feet, I've gone
Yeah,
down 2 shoe sizes.
yeah, that's mad.
And
That's
I
mad.
can't fathom it out, you know, because I
Yeah,
never had fat feet in to start with. But
yeah,
I think
yeah,
George from our UK group has sort of said it's probably to do with inflammation being
yeah,
reduced from being on this diet. Because
absolutely.
obviously I went to an aunt's cremation the other week, and I put these shoes on I hadn't worn for over 6 months, and they were like flip flops.
Yeah,
And it was embarrassing
wow.
walking through the church and you hear flip flop, and they were bloody shoes. You know, it was ridiculous. I was making people laugh, and what a place to make people laugh in.
Oh my God. Right. Well, let's have this next one. You don't look too bad on this one, if you don't mind me saying.
Yeah,
Take that as a compliment.
this is this was a picture taken of me in, I would say I was about 2 weeks into the carnivore diet here. So that's
Yeah.
probably my last one of what I see myself as fat.
Yeah. Wow. So obviously 2 weeks in, and you're getting progress already.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, yeah, this is a little bit. Yeah, this is a little bit. Just before this would have been, I think Mayish time, whatever. That's me at one of the warehouses.
yeah.
And I couldn't find a high vis to fit because they were all XLs or larges, and I needed the triple XL to get it over. As you can see, it's a bit tight under my arm, cutting
Wow.
into me there. So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, how were you feeling at the time generally?
I would come home and I would sit, have the tea or whatever it is, and I'd sit down to watch the telly, and I'd be asleep by 7 o'clock or dozing off,
Yeah.
snoring in the armchair as such. I would go to bed. I not have the best of sleep, as I say, be woken because of my snoring. I'd wake up in the morning tired again. So I was almost in that daze. I would normally use a Saturday to try and sort of lay in and catch up on sleep.
Yeah.
And then Sunday was probably the one day I was probably most active, really.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay. We're going to talk
Right.
about
So,
something that's obviously very personal to you,
yeah.
but uh, quite a few videos I've been watching about cancer recently, and I've been looking
Yeah.
at as a Professor Seafield as well.
Right.
Can you talk us through this one, please,
Yeah.
Carl?
Well, my mother was Irish, and she did suffer from skin cancer. So
Yeah.
I got this mark at the early part of last year, and it was a little dot, and I just thought it was a mole. And then after
Mm.
about a month or so, you could see, as you can see in this picture, it was starting to expand beyond the original mark.
Yeah.
So I got it checked. This was all prior to going on carnivore, okay? But obviously, with the situation with the NHS, etc., by the time I got the appointment to have it removed, I'd already started the carnivore diet. So
Yeah.
this one
Yeah.
is before I was on the carnivore, and as you can see, the different colours, and it was changing colour
Yeah.
week by week. So it was clearly something that was active. I
Yeah.
wasn't overly concerned because my mum had skin cancers, and I know what the process was and all that. So I assumed I'd just to have it removed, or they'll freeze it off or whatever they do. So if you've got the next picture.
I was going to say it looks quite black in the middle, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's quite dark. So this was the day I had it removed. And it was quite concerning because you're awake when they do it. It's under a local. They started to remove it, and then she said, "I'm ever so sorry. I'm going to need to make the a bigger cut." She says because we think there's some more within the tissue.
Wow. Wow.
So I ended up having what was supposed to be 2 stitches, 2 or 3 stitches, was 15 stitches. Um, they did remove, and when I had the checkup, I actually had quite an aggressive melanoma. So it wasn't just skin cancer. There was actually a melanoma that was starting to work its way into the hard tissue and close to the bone of my forehead. I was then told it was very aggressive. It needed to be, thank God they did what they did and found what they found.
Yeah.
It was one that affects kidneys, liver, and lungs had it got further into my system. So
Yeah.
I see it as a bit of a blessing. But as you can see, this is nearly a month into me being on the carnivore. My face is so much slimmer to the previous photos that you've just been shown. And that's literally a
Yeah.
month into doing it.
Yeah.
Now, the next slide you'll come to, I think, is when I went back a week later to have the stitches removed. The nurse removing the stitches told me I was a silly boy for not coming back when I should have done. And I said, "What are you talking about? I had it last Friday. This is this
Wow.
Friday, 1 week." And she said, "There is no way that skin is healed within a week." And this is a picture after she took the stitches out. I
Wow.
think it was about 2 days after this because there was little blood dots. So you can see there's one last blood dot on there. But that
Yeah.
was a matter. So you could. So she was adamant in the X number of years that she had been a nurse. There was no way my skin had healed in a week to the level
Yeah.
that it did.
Can I interrupt you a second there and just say that the video you sent me was only a second long, so it was
Ah,
too
sorry.
short for streamer, but I can
Okay.
testify, guys, that the scar, oh, I can't show, the scar must have been, it was at least an inch long.
It
Sorry,
was
the stitches, sorry.
yeah. If they go to my channel, there is a short on there
Yeah.
showing the stages
Yeah.
of it, and
Guys,
they'll
check
see
that
there
out.
with the 15 stitches in it, and they were
I mean,
quite
yeah.
big stitches.
With that timeline you just said, that almost looks impossible because the actual scar itself and sorry, I keep saying scar, the stitches look quite painful to me and quite brutal.
Yeah, well, if you
But
look closer, you can see how big the stitches were.
yeah, yeah,
She
yeah,
she struggled
definitely.
to get them out. She
Yeah.
really struggled to get them out because the skin had healed so much over the
Wow.
scar. She was adamant I was 2 or 3 weeks of having it there, not a week.
That's
So I think, and
incredible.
then if you see the next one, which is about 2 weeks or so after,
You have to focus to see there's
there's
actually something
anything,
there.
yeah. And I mean, I don't know if the camera will show it, but it was absolutely zero marks
Yeah.
apart from my wrinkles. There's absolutely nothing there at all now.
That is just
Now,
incredible.
when I started carnivore, I obviously with the research I did, I had a lot of bone broth. I was making my own bone broth, basically roasting the bones, putting them in water, and cooking them in a slow cooker for 48 hours,
Yeah.
extracting the water, letting it chill out, take out the fat, and then I was using the broth, which was almost like a gelatine. Obviously, looking at it now, after she was so convinced I couldn't have possibly have healed that quickly, I found out that bone broth is very high in collagen, which is obviously fantastic for skin repair.
Yeah.
So I put a lot of that down to because I'd given up coffee and I was a 7, 8 coffees a day minimum kind of guy, and quite often I'd have double espressos and things. So I had a lot of
Yeah.
coffee. To counter that, I'd seen in my research about having bone broth replacing it. So I was using bone broth to replace my coffee. So I was probably having maybe 5 or 6 mugs of bone broth instead of a tea or a coffee. And the end result is that. Now I've got other scars on me that have also all massively improved. Skin tags I used to have totally disappeared. My skin, like yourself, Alec, we got our little mini beards, and I used to suffer really badly from beard druff.
Yeah.
Where you get the stuff down the front of your top and that, and I would never wear black, because I had all this flaky stuff down the front of me tops, completely gone. My
Yeah.
skin is absolutely as good as I think I can ever remember it. And a lot of
Yeah.
that I think is the collagen from the. I don't have bone broth all the time, but at the time I was drinking it because I was trying to counteract the coffee or the feelings of having a coffee. So I'd have a bone broth, and I just think that is why my skin has healed to the level it has.
Yeah. Incredible, mate. Absolutely incredible. I mean, I've got a scar down my front, which I've done on my videos. I had to have my abs reconstructed in 2017. following a ventral hernia, etc.,
Right.
etc., and my diet, no doubt about it. I think I had IBS, and that scar was one of the reasons why I wouldn't go swimming, because it was just too uncomfortable.
Mm.
And again, as you're getting dressed in the morning or whatever in front of the wardrobes, and I've noticed recently that some days I have to really lean forward to see it.
Yeah.
And it's the body's way of saying, thank you, you're giving me the nutrition I need,
Yeah.
you're giving me all the ingredients, and now I can get on with it. So
See, the
that's
other
just
thing, I
incredible.
don't know if you were the same, Alec, but obviously when I lost the weight, I was expecting rolls of loose skin. If you saw the size
Yes.
of my belly, and my
Yeah.
belly shrunk really quickly, I've got a totally flat tummy now.
Yeah.
But I think again, because of the collagen and all that I was taking, I have very, very little loose skin, hardly at all. You wouldn't
Yeah.
even notice it. And again, I think it's because it's brought the elasticity back into my skin.
Yeah.
So rather than it being all loose and floppy, it tightened up as I was losing the weight.
Yeah.
And I think that's to do with it as well.
Well, you hear it so many times from all the YouTubers. I mean, probably like me, you're OCD on watching the channels. I mean, we all have our favorites, don't we? But I hear it time and time and time again, anywhere from Joe Rogan through to Kerry from Homestead How to the professionals like obviously Chafee and Berry. What it does to your body is, even in a very, very short time span, it's just incredible.
Mm.
Right, let's carry on. So, who's
All right.
this? Who's this? Who's this handsome young man, Sir Galahad? Who's this?
Right. Right. Okay. So, cutting a long story short, my eldest, my daughter, was born with congenital heart disease, and she
Wow.
had from 0 to 60 had many major operations. So she's 28 now and late 20s, and she's doing absolutely brilliantly. So, great success story. But I always swore that if they got to a teenager, I'd raise some money for the British Heart Foundation. So one particular night, I went out with a good friend of mine. We had a few Guinnesses, probably more than I imagined, to try and think of what I can do to raise some money for the British Heart Foundation.
Yeah.
A week later, my phone buzzes and I get a notification from eBay that I had won my bid. And I'm like, my bid? And I'm doing flashbacks. And I suddenly realized that that night I bid £1,800 on a medieval suit of armor, a 500-year-old suit of armor, which is what you're seeing me in here,
Yeah.
which is 35 kilos in weight. And the shield was another 5 kilos just to make it more fun. And the problem was the suit of armor was an original piece. So it was made for someone that was about 5'8", 5'9", and I'm 6 foot. So there were
Oh my
contact
God.
bits that were not great. So
Yeah.
I ended up committing to raise a few thousand for the British Heart Foundation to get a space. And I did the London Marathon within a month of agreeing to do it. So I did very little training. You can see from there the bruising that I had. That's me going through the start.
Yeah. Hold
And
on.
the picture, so that's me going through the start there. And I great support and all that. I tried to run as best I could, but it was mainly a fast march because it is rather heavy, and
Yeah.
it was great fun at the time, but it was 9 hours and 46 minutes of hell. This picture here, I think a number of the nationals used it on the front page for the next day
Yeah.
for the London Marathon, which was great because it boosted my charity
Yeah.
donations as well. So, and there is a clip the BBC did, which I say I will share, that they did. They took me to a castle with a drawbridge, and they said to me, say something funny to open up with. So I come down this drawbridge, I pull up the visor, and I shouted out, get off my land, which was funny at the time. But for the next 6 months, people would drive past who knew me, and I'd get people shouting out of cars, get off my land. So it became a little bit of a pain for me. But
Oh God.
I do stand up so I can see the funny side of things. So
Yeah.
yeah, and that's some of the bruising. The other bruising I couldn't show you because you'd have to be X-rated. But as you can see, because at the time I thought it was clever to put a running top underneath the chainmail, but all the chainmail did is acted like a cheese grater, ripped the shirt apart, and then started on my skin. So as you can
Yeah.
see,
Sorry.
a bit of a mess.
Yeah.
But we did raise several tens of thousands of pounds for the British Heart Foundation, so that was really cool.
Yeah.
And just to add upon that, if someone saw the interview I did with Dave Mack, I also attempted to raise some more money by doing a triathlon in the suit of armor.
Yeah.
a local air base near us, a military air base called Wattlesham, did a mini triathlon where they did the swimming was done in a pool. So we were training with me in the armour in the pool with a
Oh my
diver
God.
with an aqualung, and it was all great apart from the visor kept coming down and nearly knocking my teeth out because I had the bit in my mouth from the air. The problem was I was the CEO of a logistics company at the time, and my fellow directors would only allow me to do it because they were hoping to obviously cash in on it if I could get the relevant insurance, and I couldn't get
Oh
the
God.
relevant insurance to do it. They wouldn't insure someone doing a triathlon in a suit of armor. I can't understand why.
Crazy, absolutely crazy. But yeah, obviously the cause was very worthy, mate. So well done for that.
Well, I
I'm
did it
just
in one way
going.
because I might have needed them. So, it's sort of
Yeah,
an invested sponsorship.
right. Okay, right, guys. I hope you enjoyed those photographs. I mean, just again, very similar to mine, but I've never been a knight.
Well, my name's Day, you see.
You?
That's how it all came about.
Oh,
So
right, yeah, yeah,
I
nice and
see there's
day.
some
And what?
questions in the
Yeah, let's have a quick look. So I've got one which I've just started. It's from George, a friend of ours. I'll just put it on the screen. Yeah. So do you want to read it, Carl?
right. How do you feel about the UK Carnivore meet up? Well, right. So he's obviously playing on words there. We've obviously. I mean, I come across you, Alex, through YouTube. I saw some of your tubes. I saw some
Yeah,
interviews with other people. I come across George, and then very quickly, and like with UK Carnival guy and all these guys, we've got together and we've created a UK base, which we've got this WhatsApp group that's been set up brilliantly, and the community's grown and grown, and we're now talking about getting together a number of carnivals because they do it in the States. We saw the Carnival Soldier posted recently the meetup that they had, didn't they? So
yeah,
I think
yeah,
it's a great idea, George, and it's about finding the middle ground because obviously you're up in Liverpool area. I'm on the East Coast. George is down
yeah,
in Devon or Somerset or wherever it is. It's
yeah,
finding that right place. But I think we could do localized ones as well. So I think that's a great
yeah,
idea.
yeah. I agree. I mean, thinking long term with Kerry Man because I did a live stream first day after New Year, and again when we were speaking before and after the actual live stream, his intentions are to come out to the UK, which is incredible.
Oh, be
That's
brilliant.
going to cost an absolute fortune, but I think it's going to be later than sooner because there's so much to do in the States. And what he's been talking about, obviously, he's seeing Dr. Hampton, Dr. Berry. He's been up to Canada. He's got to see Bill and everybody. It's I just don't know how he fits it all in. But yeah, I just said to him a couple of times, meeting somewhere like Lauren. I hope she doesn't mind me saying this, but imagine a meetup on Lauren's farm in Somerset. It's Farmer's Wife, Farming Life, I think is the actual
Yeah, yeah,
name.
yeah.
I mean,
Lawrence
that's
had a
just like
project.
maybe a little bit of a pipe dream, but you never know. From little acorns, big oaks grow, and I think it's something I think we definitely need to do in the future because I think we're all on the same journey. Yeah. So
Yep, I
let's have a
totally
look.
agree. Totally agree.
Yeah, let me just tell you what. We'll go through a few comments,
Yeah,
and I'll just stick up one or two from people maybe.
yeah, no problem.
Was it? Yeah. Hold on. Evening, guys. Laney's allowed me to stay up after my bedtime. Oh, here's one from Lauren as well. Hello, guys. Hi, Lauren.
Hi, Lauren.
Pete from Primal Timeline. I've got another chat
Oh,
after this one, by the way.
his
10 p.m.
material
tonight. Yeah,
is awesome. Primal
it
Timeline.
blows.
I tell
Yeah,
anyone if you want to see a well put together, I mean, seriously, that's brilliant. His stuff is, and
yeah,
if anything, he's inspired me that my more recent stuff I've started to he's up the game as far as I'm concerned, so I'm going to take
yeah,
him on because he's fantastic with some of his stuff. It's well worth watching, and his
yeah,
story's brilliant. He's fought addiction issues as well as confidence issues, mental issues. He is I'm a big fan of Primal Timeline, and
yeah.
and isn't it interesting, with the exception I believe of gambling, every other addiction is a plant.
Yes,
So it's
I heard someone.
alcohol, plant
Yeah,
based. All the drugs, plant based.
yeah,
It's concerning. You don't find anyone addicted to meat, although I think we are becoming addicted to meat, but that's
yeah.
because of the taste.
Exactly. I think Paul, UK Carnivore guy, did mention one other one, pornography, which we won't go down that road anyway, but he did mention that.
Yeah, that's true. If it's in using meat, then it's the wrong sort of pornography, and we'd be concerned about what he's watching.
Yeah, okay. The mind boggles.
Yeah.
Yeah, but as you say, tagging on to what you said about Pete from the Primal Timeline, great handle for the actual channel. But I watched his trailer because I think he'd like my stuff, so I just said basically on his comments, why don't you start your own channel? He explained to me about the video editing, and his trailer came out just before the new year. I think you saw it.
Yeah.
It's like watching the beginning of a movie, like a torch, like the way Kerry talks about. And I sat there and I got goosebumps, and I thought, oh, please get some videos out. And he has, and he hasn't let himself down. They've been absolutely brilliant.
And
as you
his
say,
humor is superb.
yeah,
He
I
does
love the sugar.
adverts.
Yeah,
His
the sugar.
adverts hilarious.
Yeah, I know.
Absolutely hilarious.
Yeah. So, guys, I'll do another little shout out there while we're on the Primal Timeline. Check out that channel. The guy's based in Brisbane, Australia, and but I think he's got Scottish background. I think from originally.
Yes.
But yeah,
In his introduction, he mentions he was originally in Scotland. Yeah.
Superb. Okay, let's scroll down a bit more. They're all talking to each other. This one's from William. Hi, William. Hello from Scotland. Keep up the good work, guys. Thank you. I've done that question. Let's go.
So the only bone I've got to pick with the Scottish is they can't say my name properly. They change my sex when they say no because they go Carol.
Carol.
They roll the R.
Yeah. Okay. Let's read this one. We all have the tendency to overcomplicate this simple way of eating. Go forward with the intention that you started this way of life. I definitely need new glasses. Leave the old you behind and embrace the new you. Absolutely 100%.
Bang on.
Yeah. Metabolic paramedic, evening gents, evening mate. Let's have a look. Former fat girl. What's up, friends? What I miss? Check the replay. Let's keep going. Just keep scrolling through. Are you scrolling through yourself? Yeah.
Yeah. So if people want to ask questions, stick some cues in the front, and then I'll happily answer you anything from shrinking feet to marathons in suits of armor. Or even stand-up comedy. I'll look you on that one as well.
Yeah. Okay, great. One more here. Hi all. Just subscribe to Primal. It was a timeline, excellent, or lifetime. All right, let's get.
You won't be disappointed.
Thank you very much.
You won't be disappointed.
No, not at all. Yeah. So, guys, as Carl said, please put a QQQ. We've got another half an hour at least, hopefully, and as long as you don't mind, yeah, put a QQQ in front of the question, and we'll do our best to answer it. Let's see, where are we?
So, Alex, you did some videos on the lion diet back in. Is it November you did it?
Yeah.
And there's a group of us UK guys, and now I think you're back on it again now. And we're doing it for January because obviously it's Carnivore month as well. Although I keep saying 2024 is the year of the carnivore. I've been surprised on my journey on lion diet because the first week or so didn't have any issues with cravings, but did find I was getting tired. And I didn't know it was because I wasn't having the eggs and some of the other items. It was purely just the beef and that. But I've just finished my second week, now going into my third week, and my energy levels are back up again. Did you find similar to that? Is that so? You think that's quite common?
Yes. The first week I was starving. I was eating at 11 o'clock in the morning instead of 2 o'clock. And although I wasn't physically tired, I was yawning all day. As if somebody was telling me a really bad joke, and Michelle was like, "Oh, you're tired now?" And I went, "No, Michelle," I said, "I feel great, but I just can't stop yawning." And it was definitely my body, because obviously, I'd lost all the weight anyway, and cutting out the eggs, the coffee in particular, I was satiated longer when I was having coffee. I don't know why, but that first week, I was a bit dubious about carrying on. And if anybody follows I've got a playlist of all the videos. After the second week, I was like this. I was like, yeah, come on, Superman. And by the third week, I was just like limitless. It was just nonstop. And it's only when I got to the end of the fourth week, I was thinking, I do miss having scrambled eggs. I do miss my coffee. Is it going to harm me? I was thinking about Dr. Chafee. But as I say, I've actually just documented, was it yesterday, the day before, I have given up on lion diet I did 2 weeks in January. I'm quite I can cope very well with the vegetables, which I'll never go back to, but I'm thinking I can still stick with the coffee. What the hell? I'm 11 stone 2. I'm 156 pounds. I'm almost at my fighting weight as well. So I might go line diet 1 month, carnivore the next month, or then mix and match, just depending how I feel. And I'm sure you'll agree, Carl. This is the beauty of this way of eating. You are in control. Yeah.
Well,
Right, guys. So, go on, carry on.
No, you go.
I was going to say we've got another special guest, guys. I didn't mention at the beginning because I wasn't sure whether he'd be coming. I think you all know who it is. I'm going to introduce him.
Hey,
Larry.
All right. Carnivore Soldier coming in.
Hey.
How's it going, guys?
Yeah, great, fantastic. Nick, great to see you, Larry.
Yeah, good to see you, Larry. Your video just published. I know you haven't seen it because you've been talking.
Great, yeah.
So it's out.
Yeah. Thanks for that, mate. I really enjoyed the interview.
On the WhatsApp. Yeah, it came out good.
I was listening to the podcast as well. The podcast is really good. So, you've met Carl before?
Oh, of course.
Yeah, we've done an interview. We did an interview reminiscing about our punk era.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we were talking about how this is like a punk rock thing to do, is to be carnivore. It's like the most punk rock thing you can do.
Yeah.
At our age.
Well, I'm a few years ahead of you guys, obviously, but I mean, when I was about 17, when I started working local government, punk was at its peak. The Pistols, Susie and the Banshees. What's your favorite band, Carl? From the punk
I
era?
love the Clash. I did see the Pistols. And they're just outrageous. But the Clash were my go-to. Yeah. But I mean, we talked about Larry. That we covered a whole array of. Because Larry who came into it a bit later than us. Because obviously it was big in the UK and it was starting to go across the US, wasn't it? But
I was here in the beginning in America in the 80s. So 80, 81 is when I got into punk rock. And so the Pistols were gone, but I did see Public Image Limited with Johnny Rotten, John Lydon, right?
Yeah.
We need his first tour. So I saw the first tour of PIL, which is great. And I think my favorite are, of course, I do love some British bands. I love the Exploited. I'm kind of the thrash kind of guy, so I used to like to slam dance a lot. So I love the Exploited, GBH, those guys. But then I love Black Flag and Dead Kennedys and such. So yeah, I've got my American and my British favorites. Susie and the Banshees are excellent, obviously, all the time. I mean, they're just amazing. Yeah,
well, I'm sure my age. I've got a 7-inch single, "Holiday in Cambodia" by the Dead Kennedys.
Yeah, that's great.
Great, yeah. My experience was watching the Stranglers in Liverpool City Centre.
My God!
Oh, the Stranglers,
or the Damned. I love the Damned. Everyone played in the Damned, didn't they? I mean, I mean, even Lemmy from I mean, Motorhead played in the Damned. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
but that band had everyone go through it.
Yeah. Well, as I say, I'm an oldie, and the music today is absolute crap. I don't mind saying that, but if I had a time machine, I'd definitely go back. Yeah.
I think my biggest disappointment in punk rock, though, if I can just share this real quick, is that all these punk rockers that I looked up to as anti-establishment all fell right in line during the disease outbreak, and they fell in line with the government. And I was disgusted by every one of them. And I'm like, man, you are not what you said you were, or you've changed.
Yeah.
But that's not what I don't know if John Lydon did, but the American ones all fell in rank and file. And I was like, no way. It was terrible.
So true. Yeah, I agree. Me and Carl were talking before you came on about a journey we've all been through, about coming to 50, hitting that sort of milestone where, obviously you'd left. Had you retired by then, Larry?
I retired at 53.
Right. So obviously you were talking about your experience near the end. We're slowing down. We're not doing what we used to do. What I was doing in my 20s, 30s, and 40s, obviously knee replacements. Carl used to be, was it Judo? Then it was Sumo. It's a very, it is a classic story, isn't it, that we all go through. And I'll ask you the same question as I asked him. What made you turn to carnivore?
Yeah, so like I said, I retired at 53 years old, but my last ever since 2017, I retired in 2019. The last 2 or 3 years, my athletic performance just nosedived. And even when I was working out, my body didn't respond like it used to. It just wouldn't. I mean, I could go out and row for an hour a day and it didn't matter. But I just got out, I retired in 2019, and then the disease hit a few months later, and we were all under lockdown. And I put on a lot of weight. So I went from 255 to about 280. and everything was sliding down. You know, I was sitting on my couch, not motivated, not able to do stuff, not, you know, and one day I was just looking for Jeep parts on YouTube on how to put them on, and I saw that Dante Fregno video, and that was it. And when I saw that, at first I didn't believe it. It was incredulous, you know, it was ridiculous. But I was like, well, it looks real, but you know. But then I looked him up on a recent video and saw he was even better looking. And not only was the way he looked better, but the way he moved, the way he engaged, he talked, everything was different about the guy. He was a different person completely.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, this has got to be it. And then I saw Dr. Barry and then I pulled it. I just pulled the ripcord. I'm like, this is it. We're doing it, man. 100%.
Yeah.
And we're going to make this thing happen.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
well, I was going to say, if you pardon the pun, you get a gut feeling about it, don't you? An absolute gut feeling.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're a critical thinker, there's a lot of people that don't. And it's like, I don't know. I don't get that, but that's not me.
Well, I'm looking back now over these 21 months, in fact, 625 days today, which I can't believe. And I do find it strange still today and frustrating why people don't come on board when they clearly see the physical changes, the mental changes, no medications and so on. And they don't seem to be inquisitive enough. But as you say, critical thinking, probably a bit of cognitive dissonance with me at the beginning, because I just couldn't handle seeing all this stuff on YouTube and knowing that YouTube can be fickle, like any social media platform. But hearing people talk about stoicism and having the guts, you know, to stick with it and go through it, you know, not listen to the naysayers, getting that internal belief and getting fast results. You know, I think it's something that everyone's going through at the same time, particularly, should we say, anybody our age group, anybody over 45. But I want to lead on. So I was going to ask Carl a question before you came on about depression, which I think is a really important subject to talk about. I mean, if it's too personal, obviously don't talk about. But did you ever feel as if that was an issue for you?
I think mentally, my biggest issue was I was ashamed of myself.
Definitely.
So when people got a camera out, I would either make sure I was in the background or I was, you know, not doing. So I was more embarrassed, mainly because obviously when I was doing the judo, I had a fantastic physique and all that sort of side. And then suddenly you see where you end up. I was really embarrassed. I never got down and depressed in that. So that mental issue wasn't major for me, but it was about confidence was the big difference for me. Now, as I say, I've touched on, I do occasional stand-up comedy and things like that, and everyone says, oh, you've got to be so confident, but you wouldn't be amazed that most of the comedians off stage are the most, you know, negative, you know, people going, and they almost have this persona when they go on stage. But I used to use it as a bit of a mask, but now my confidence levels is just phenomenal, and my brain is so sharp. I'm reading books now at a speed that I've never achieved before. You know, it's just everything, it seems to be on fast forward.
That's incredible, mate. Incredible. I think Larry's just doing something at the moment, but I'll ask you another question. Are you okay, mate? Are you back on?
Yeah, I'll be right in 1 second. I'm just helping a technician on my new router, so I'll be right
okay,
there.
Cool. All right. Right, let's talk about more personal stuff, because I don't want to be talking about what you eat, you know, what you fit. I've done all that. I want to talk a bit more deeply about. I mean, I read a book years ago, Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus, and I was like, oh, what's this rubbish? But the older I got, I thought, yeah, we are definitely from Mars, and my wife is from Venus, definitely. I quoted something to Larry last time about, I don't know who said it, but most men lead lives of quiet desperation. And that comes home to me, because I have kept things to myself because I don't want to bother people. You know, they've got more important things to worry about, not hearing my little woes and my weight problems and, you know, my feelings of depression, which I didn't know I had at the time. But I just think it's so scary that so many of us struggle with this stuff. So my next question was going to be, what's the family support? I'm sure it's going to be very good, but what's been all the reactions from your family, your children, and so on?
Well, it's been really interesting, because a number of my brothers kind of went, oh, he's done another one of these weird things, send him a tinfoil hat, you know, you'll be happy with that. Inga, my wife, I did on my channel, there's an interview of Living with a Carnivore that Inga done. And she's been brilliant. She's not convinced to do carnivore herself yet. She doesn't, well, not say she needs to, but I'd love her to try it to see the benefits that she'd
Yeah.
get from it, but she's not overweight or anything like that, so she feels she doesn't need it. And her giving up a proper Big Mac to just for a couple of meat patties, that's a no for her. So, and she likes her sugars in a coffee and things like that. So, but she's been awesome. And then other family members, I mentioned about James, who's another one I interviewed. He's doing it and doing fantastically well. His sister is now gone on to doing the carnivore lifestyle, so I'm going to obviously support her and track her. So other than my brother rivalry, everyone's been pretty good. But interestingly enough, and I've made this point a few times in interviews, when you're overweight and obese, everyone's quite happy for you to be that jolly chap, whatever it is. But the minute you do something like this and you start losing weight, they all become doctors and they're all concerned about your health. And they're all saying you're going to have a heart attack. You can't eat this level of fat. You can't be doing this. You can't do that. And I'm saying, look at me. I am living evidence of this working. I am my own experiment and it's working. Look at my results. And I show them, I've tracked my weight, and it's literally like a drawing of a load of mountains and then suddenly the cliff, and it's just phenomenal. And my resting heart rate and my all the bits and pieces are just all positive. And you still get people, but that can't be right. And the most common one I hear now is it's not sustainable. You can't keep doing it. When are you going to start eating vegetables? And my simple answer is never.
Ditto.
Crazy.
Never gonna eat vegetables.
Okay, right. Yeah. We were just talking about family support there, and you've got a good story about your son. He's doing carnivore, or he's keto carnivore.
Yeah, Larry? He's ketovore because he's with his mom most of the time. I have him every other weekend, but he went carnivore with me full last summer when he was with me for 30 days. That was his decision. I had started carnivore in March 22nd. I'm actually on day 300 today. So it's my 300th
well done.
day. Yeah, my carniversary. 65 days away, and I'll be a 1 year marker. So I did it from March till July. And in July, he was with me the whole month. He said, Dad, I want to go carnivore because I think it might heal my foot. And he's a soccer player, or as you call it, football. He's a defender. And so he did that. And he went full carnivore. And then in the summer, he'd go back to his mom's and come back with me every other weekend. And he's like, well, how do I do that, Dad? How do I keep eating this way? I said, just ask double portions on the meat, pick around at your vegetables, and don't eat any bread or sugar, and no noodles, and you'll be okay. That's what he did. And he'd knocked 3 minutes off his 3 mile time in cross country, which is outdoor. I'm sure you guys have something like that. So as a cross country runner, so 3 mile races, he lost 3 miles, 3 minutes off that time, set PRs on every race he ran. And in addition to that, he basically placed in his first race. And then in the soccer season, the last weekend of the season, there was a tournament and he played 3 games and didn't sub out once. He never had to sub out, never got tired. He said, I never get tired, Dad. Yeah. So he's really great.
Question on that is, so what's your relationship? I'm going to expect the positive answer, but your relationship must be amazing.
Oh, with my son? Yeah, we're really pretty close. I'm lucky because he's a teenager who likes technology, and I'm I would say I'm like a demigod on technology because I'm the wireless network architect for University of Texas. The kid loves University of Texas. He thinks that's cool. And the fact that I know everything tech, like I can help him upgrade his PC or build or troubleshoot software. I can do everything. And so I have a little status with him and his friends. They enjoy when I come play video games with them. They invite me in. I'm terrible, but they love playing with me. I don't know why, but they just have a 57-year-old guy playing with all these 14-year-olds in a video game. It's fun. I'm definitely the anchor man. I can tell you that.
Yeah. Love it. All right, let's talk about. Well, actually, the question I'm bringing up now is about doctor visits. I'm getting my bloods done in March. I've got a cardio test and everything, so that should be quite interesting. Haven't had done anything done for 5 years, so please God, carnivore, make sure it works out well. So the question to you guys, I'll start with you, Carl. Have you had any bloods done or any medical visits?
I haven't since I've been on carnivore because I wanted to get over the 6 month period, but I'm due what is known as we're all in our 50s, the well man doing. So I'm intending on doing that this. I'm going to finish the line dart, and then I'm going to do it at the beginning of February. Take a well-man test where they do
That's
your
great.
bloods and all the bits and pieces. And I'm not going to tell them I'm on
Yeah.
Carnivore. I'm just interested to see what the results will
Yeah.
be. So once I get them, I will publish.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm the same. I'm not going to say a word. I keep getting these texts saying, come in for your annual this, annual that, which they never used to be annual things. But yeah, I'm going to take advantage of that. And my doctor will not recognize, because I was 203 pounds last time I saw him. I was on 3 meds. In fact, four meds. I was on omeprazole and all my BPs. And I was negative. I was miserable. But yeah, so that should be quite fun. Yeah, so he's the same age as me as well.
Well, that's
Sorry,
that is going to be an interesting conversation. It's a shame you can't really film it, really, because obviously under private confidential, you probably couldn't be able to do that. But that would be quite good.
No,
I see there's a couple of questions in the list. Are there any British doctors that the public domain supports carnivore lifestyle? So, do you know of any doctors in the UK that support the carnivore lifestyle or supportive? I know George mentioned he knew somebody, but
not me. No, not at all. It'd be nice to interview them.
I think George. I think when you hear George's story where he had reversed his diabetes and he'd had the test and they were trying to talk him to go to insulin, and then they rang him up saying, and he thought, oh, it's serious. If they're ringing me up, there's a problem. And they're actually saying, what have you done? Because you've reversed it. And I think that they kind of really supported and liked the idea. But I'm not personally aware of any doctors at the moment. I think they're going to toe the line of medical science, which, as I mentioned, I'm aiming to do a PhD this year, or I'll start the process of doing a PhD this year, because if anyone watching has not seen him yet, go and look up Professor David Diamond and see one of his speeches about the medical science. He's completely ripped it apart. He actually went back to the actual data, not the conclusions. He went back to the data and reran it, and he's uncovered massive things about the misleading information that a lot of doctors, and that's what they're being trained, that's what they're being taught, but the information is flawed. And when you think that a lot of the science was sponsored by the likes of Kellogg's, who are owned by a vegan organization, the Finley Church of can't remember what they were called now, but I'm sure someone will correct me in there. So a lot of the science was influenced by either food, pharma, or like the grains, like the Kellogg's of this world. So there's a conflict of interest. I now look at studies where it hasn't got a sponsor involved, and then you can trust the science a lot more. And the Professor David Diamond rips holes in the former knowledge that there was, and proves beyond doubt that fat is good, not bad.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I haven't read that. That's one I want to make a note of. I'm going to have a look into that because I'm into reading big time at the moment. So, cool. Professor Robert.
Okay, I'll just scroll down these comments, see if we need to put any on the screen. Let's see. Donna, she's saying hello, everyone. She's probably saying hello to everybody in the group, because that's one of my habits. I put the wrong comments on the screen. What's George saying? Let's see.
George is saying about the nurse. It was a nurse practitioner that.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think there's another one from about David Owen. Oh yeah, David. Yeah, he's from the Merseyside area, doesn't he? He's the Southport doctor that started reversing diabetes. Yes, I definitely have seen him on Twitter or X, or whatever they call it nowadays. Guys, if you've got any questions, I'd say put QQQ at the beginning, and I think I'll be on for a beat as long as you've got Carl.
No problem.
Keep going. Yeah. As I say, until we get run out of things to do. I see Larry. I think Larry wants to come back in now. Here we go.
No problem. You're on mute, Larry.
You okay?
I just had the world's fastest router swap out. I had a guy in here putting new fiber in.
Oh God!
And he was just standing there looking at me. I'm like, okay.
Well, it's not working very well.
Yeah.
I'd fire the router, man.
Yeah. I think he'll sort that out.
Yeah, so it's obviously just a glitch.
Shall I remove him from the screen for now?
Oh,
Yeah.
it's just David Unwin
I'll tell.
supports the PCA. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah, QQQ. Let's have a look at this one. Oh no, we got that one already, haven't we? Let's go through. Let's carry on.
That's the one that's the problem when you've got such an active timeline going on, haven't you?
Let's see, get Larry back on.
We're going for a third time, Lucky.
I'm definitely starting. Yeah, let's see. No, he's gonna. I think he's gonna reboot again. Anyway, let's get on with the Carl Day show. Here we go. Yeah, let's talk about So I'm sure the answer is going to be yes. You're going to see this as a long-term nutrition.
Yeah. I can see myself sticking with this lifestyle till day dot. You mentioned earlier on before Larry joined us, you were talking about doing Lion alternate months, whatever. What I've enjoyed being on Lion, but since you and I've been talking about it on here, I do fancy an egg now. So I'm going to stick it with the next 2 weeks and get the 4 weeks done. But I'm thinking of considering doing like a hybrid version. And that is where perhaps Monday to Friday be Lion, and then at weekends have the eggs and the other bits of dairy, and just see how that works out.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's too short a period of mixing it. But as I say, this is all about a living experiment on myself and seeing how that works.
Yeah.
So I might try like a hybrid version. I did start the first week almost doing what I would call a sea lion diet, because I had a load of herring over at Christmas and carried on. So I started having herring with some of my steaks. So I might try and push this sea lion diet rather than the lion diet, just for a bit of fun as well. So I'm going to play around and experiment. But yeah, the carnivore per se, yes, I think I will stick with till time dot. And I hope restaurants start picking up on this growing community, because I now kind of understand where vegans and vegetarians suffered 10, 15 years ago when they went into a pub or something and there was no, there was like one option or something. Where now it's almost turned around now. Everything is pretty much vegan and vegetarian considered, but obviously a meat eater is not considered into doing it. So have you fired your cable man, Larry? Because he obviously didn't do so well, did he?
No, he put the new router in, and the first
line
thing it did was did an update. It did a rebooted. So sorry.
Right. No worries. We're just talking about the Lion diet. Carl is into his second week, and are you still there, Larry? Yeah, I think. Yeah. I've just come off the Lion diet after 2 weeks. I did it in November. It was fantastic, but I did miss those things like the coffee, the eggs, bacon, especially streaky bacon, and my power bowls. And this is my second day going back onto a normal carnivore. I just feel the same, and I think I've done my challenge. I've dropped another 5 pounds in weight. I've put a couple of pounds back on, but I'm still over. Was it 45 pounds down on the whole journey? So I agree with you, Carl. I think we should be flexible on this if we want to be. Don't hit yourself. There's very, very few perfect carnivores out there, and I think it's got to be just your own choice. If you can tolerate, whatever you want to eat, by all means do it. But I think the central carnivore diet of beef, butter, bacon, and eggs is the way to go. And people want to vary it. That's entirely up to them.
Yeah, I agree. I think the people.
Okay.
Some people might need a cleaner diet based on their health history. Like Michaela Peterson, obviously. So that it's always there as a tool, and it's always there as a tool to find out what's not working, right? And that's what I did with my coffee.
Yes.
To figure out. Yeah. And now what I've done is this, because I still love coffee, right? I'm not gonna. So what I've done is I realized that I can't drink coffee every day, but I can have an occasional cup socially or something. I can go out for coffee with someone, have a coffee, and it doesn't affect my arthritis. But if I drink it every day, after about a month, arthritis starts flaring up. And it's probably the oxalates in it. I know there's a lot of oxalates in coffee. Not sure, but I do know how my body works. So for me, I'll do BBB&E with no coffee and have coffee occasionally with socially.
Yeah, I totally agree.
I see the question
Go
you
on,
got
Carl.
up there about the insurance compliance. I think that's an American thing because obviously it's to do with health insurance. Here we have the NHS, so we don't have to have checkups for insurance compliance because obviously it's our national health service. But I'd be interesting if people are taking out life insurance and that, and they are, you know, and the question is, what's your diet? Are you vegetarian, vegan, or lion? How the insurance companies will interpret it. I don't know what it's like in America, Larry, in terms of insurance compliance and diet. Do they concern themselves with that, or?
Yeah. Last time I got my health care, my life insurance done, I didn't have to tell them about my diet. I just had to tell them about tobacco use, alcohol use, and then they did the weight, BMI, and blood pressure, and a lab just on my blood. That's all they did. So they never asked me about diet. It'd be interesting if they did, but I can tell you one thing: insurance companies are not going to follow a party line. They're going to follow the money line. And if their numbers show that people that are eating vegetables are dying earlier and they're going to have to pay out more, it's going to show up. They're not going to hide it. Same with the shots. When people got the certain, shots, the insurance companies are the first ones to start crying foul. Like, hey, we have a lot of young people dying here. What's going on? Right? This is not normal. This is catastrophic for them. So I think, the insurance companies may be one of our early canary in the coal mine kind of things, where they come out and start saying, hey, we got all these people that are living longer and they're eating healthy or eating this diet, and people are dying younger eating this diet, and this costs us money. So they may adjust down the road.
Well, not only that, surely if people are reducing the amount of medication they're on, the insurance companies are not having to pay out on the medication, are they? So there's another positive from it. But that's a good angle, Ash. I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah, and you won't see that on your medical system, because your medical system is covered for by the government, so the government never doesn't worry about that. Same with the VA here, the Veterans Administration. The government, it's a government standard pay. They don't care about how much the medicine is or whatever. They just hand it out, and the taxpayers pay for it. But when you go into the private sector, and then you have insurance companies trying to, that makes a big difference. So for sure.
Wow. Okay, guys. So before you had your slight techie problem, I was going to talk about depression, Larry. And I was talking to Carl about, the weight issues can lead to things like that. Obviously, with you being involved with the VA as well, that must be a massive part of your carnivore life for yourself and obviously the people you associate with. Can you just touch on what's happened to you at all?
Yeah, I mean, that was unexpected because I didn't realize that would happen. But I went to lose the weight, and then everything else came along with it. So the things that happened with my anxiety went away. I used to have anxiety. I didn't like going to crowds. I didn't like socializing. I liked to stay at home and just be by myself, or with friends and family. I didn't like going out too much. Now I have no problem going out engaging. I enjoy it. I enjoy engaging with people like you guys, either away from home or here. And my depression basically went down to like almost gone. I mean, it's very rare now if there's any depression, and it's just like a wave that passes over and then it's gone. Not like days or weeks. We're talking like maybe a couple hours and then it'll be gone. But there was times where I'd wake up and have completely depressed days, and it'd be sunny outside. There's no reason to be depressed, but I just was, and and something, my channel is geared towards first responders and military veterans, and we are the warrior class of the Western society, right? All of us as a group, and the warrior class doesn't like to share weakness. The warrior class sucks it up and drives on. We just drink more water and tighten our boot laces and go. And that's the way we work. And no one wants to be seen as a complainer, and no one wants to be seen as weak. So we don't share, and we just internalize and compartmentalize all this stuff. And that's why I think many of us are suffering in silence. I was, and I think this is the first real tool I've come across that will actually let people jailbreak and get out of that cycle and completely free themselves and change the way they're living. I mean, you could see it even when you look at even civilian people that aren't. You could see it in Dante Fregno when he was starting this. You could see he was depressed. You could just look at him. He was a different person, and compared to his now. If you watch that first video again, his 127 Days of Lion, you can see that he was not in a good place, physically, mentally,
Absolutely.
emotionally.
Yeah.
And now he is. And it's just, you could do the same with me. So that's the mission. That's my mission, Carnivore. That's my main purpose for this channel. But it's also to reach anybody. I mean, they don't have to be first responder or veteran, but just because I know that we connect better, just like us carnivores connect, right? Because you and I can connect
absolutely.
on a level almost immediately because we've already been through a fight together, right? On our own, but we've been through the same fight. Same with you, Carl. I mean, we're, basically it's a brotherhood, sisterhood thing.
Agreed.
Yeah. It's incredible. When I had my interview with Kerry from Homestead How, which has had over 190,000 views, which blows my mind. I'd never spoken to another man about my personal issues ever. My dad died when I was 9, so my mum brought me up. She died at 44 when I was 24. So from 24 onwards, I'm not looking for any sympathy. What I'm saying is I had to grow up really fast. And part of that being from Liverpool, a working class area, you didn't tell people your feelings like this. You know, you didn't gush. And all of a sudden, this thing comes along 40 years later. And I came off the interview with Kerry and went, I just told him my life story. It's just incredible. And, you know, obviously I'm on the WhatsApp group with you guys, and we talk about things that I would just never, ever talk to you about on a one-to-one basis. Maybe obviously we're in the same room. I'm sure I would find that very, very easy. But as you say, Larry, there's a brotherhood thing. Some people might say that's corny. I don't think it is. There's definitely an association and a realization that you are not on your own doing this. And it's absolutely incredible. Right, guys, let's go. I'm going to have to go in about 15 minutes if that's okay with you, because I've got another chat. I'm so busy. Question for Carl. I usually ask this one. If you met somebody tomorrow who was struggling like you were, and you could see that they were looking for an answer, and they asked you about your carnivore and how they could get started, what would be your probably best couple of tips that you could give them starting from day one?
Do it. That's a simple thing. You know, it's as simple as that. It's like the old Nike advert. Just do it.
Just do it.
Do it for a month. And if it doesn't work for you, you'll know in a month. Try and do it for 3 months, because that's when you really see the benefits. But if you see, I don't want to sort of give away one of my ideas, but I'm going to do it anyhow. Carnivore diet is actually a 1-day diet, because all you do is you do carnivore for 1 day, go to bed, wake up, and you do carnivore for 1 day and repeat and repeat. You don't, because when you think of a diet, you're always thinking about, oh, I've got so many months to go and I've got to get to this target. Do carnivore for 1 day, go to bed and repeat. That's the easiest way to do it. But I would say anyone that's thinking about it, do it. Do your research, do your checks. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. I'm not giving any advice in that respect because I can't. But I'm my own living experiment, and there's 3 guys here. There's a whole people in the conversations that are all on it, all involved in it, and they're all getting similar results. So my simple advice is do it. Try it for a month. Try and do it for 3, because 3 you'll really see the benefits. But in a month, you should see some incredible changes, and that will give you the motivation to carry on.
Yeah, great stuff. Larry, what would you say would be your best tip or couple of tips?
So I think you guys might have watched my video where I talk about how not to fail at carnivore. But what I talk to people about is making a deal with yourself, because people will say when you first broach the carnivore thing, well, I could never do that. I can't give up my vegetables. I can't give up coffee. I can't give up whatever. Or can I have a cheat day if I do it? Or can I have ketchup or salad dressing? Is salad so bad? That kind of stuff, right? So they start that, and I basically like to stop them right there and say, listen, if I were, let's just write this $25,000 check here, and let's put it in an escrow account. And if you make it 30 days, you get that $25,000 check. And in exchange, you get, I get to follow you and watch everything you eat every day. Do you think you'd have a problem not giving up any of that stuff? Would any of that stuff matter to you if you had a $25,000 check waiting 30 days later for you in an escrow account? It wouldn't. For most people, they'd say, yeah, I'd do it. Why? Because they have absolute faith in that $25,000 check in that escrow account. It's certified. They have faith. They have no faith in this diet because every diet they've done up to this point has failed. Everyone has, because they're not good vehicles. This is the first vehicle. This is not the same as those. This is not the same as keto even.
Yeah.
And like I said, if keto worked, they'd still be keto. They wouldn't be looking here. If, you know, the Southwest diet worked, they'd be doing that. Whatever it is, this is the first one that actually works. And this is the first one where if you put in 100% effort, you're going to get 250% to 500% returns. I think your returns are way more than what you put in.
Yeah.
But what you don't want to do is bring in failure patterns from your other diets and try to implement them in this successful vehicle. This vehicle is different. Treat it with respect, go forward, and basically just do it, you know, and do it for 30 days, commit for 30 days, like Carl said. And then if it doesn't work, then if you tell me I can't do it after I was really strict for 30 days, I followed it, and, you know, BBB&E, then I would have to say, well, you're that's different, but okay, at least I respect that you tried it. Yeah. But when people say they could never do it and they just shut it down right away, you know, you have to go into a different mindset. It's definitely a mind thing at first. And when you get over it, though, your body will tell you as soon as you've been into 2 or 3 weeks, you'll know.
Yeah, I agree. Great stuff. I mean, I've been saying to a couple of people who've been asking me recently, I watched Lisa Wiedemann on the live stream, and she said, you've got to have a why. It's got to be a big why. And that why, if it doesn't make you cry, you're not going to do it. And I had a couple of whys: physical, mental, and weight loss issues. And so that was my combination. But you certainly have got to have something as big as that to make you do it. Good stuff, guys. Okay, so I've got a question here from Linda Zuber. My doctor supported carnivore diet, but still wants me to take statins for 4.5 bad cholesterol. I'm still not taking them. I was offered statins about, I'd say 5 or 6 years ago when I was on my BP meds. I just had a bad feeling about them and I didn't take mine. But have you guys ever taken statins?
I personally haven't. I was being asked to consider taking them, as I said, when I was pre-diabetic. Yeah. But no, I never took them. Fortunately, I found the carnivore in time. So I missed the bullet there. Thank God.
Yeah, I have not taken them either, but I would just ask my doctor. If my doctor said that, I'd say, well, can you show me the risk? And if they show you, you know, the benefit versus risk, and then ask them if they know the difference between relative risk and total risk or actual risk. Because if they don't, then point them over to Zoe Harcum and Dr. Jamie Diamond, and check out the LDL masterclass by Jamie Diamond with Dr. Baker, because before you do any statins, just watch those 2 videos. Watch Zoe Harcum, Debunking Fiber, I think it is, and then watch the one with Dr. Baker and Jamie Diamond. And then after that, when you understand the total number to treat, TNN, or TNT, total number to treat, right?
You mean David Diamond?
NNT. Yeah. NNT, the number needed to treat. And if you get that, you can share that with the doctor too, because that tells you what the actual benefit and the actual risk is of a statin. Statins are supposed to be very good for a very, very small portion of the population that has already had a heart attack, basically. I mean, not people that are healthy. So,
when you look at what David Diamond does, and he proves that they say 37%, and it's actually, it was 37% of 0.3%, and they just did a calculation to make. And you look at that and you're like, oh my God.
Yeah, 97% of people didn't get a heart attack either way, and the people that did, So this the way I think Zoe did it when she talked about the lottery ticket. Do you guys remember that when she talked about lottery ticket? She said, "Well, if you buy one lottery ticket, you have 1 in 14 million chance to win, right? But if you buy 2 lottery tickets, now you have 2 in 14 million chances to win. Your chance of winning has not changed, but compared to the guy who bought 1, you have a 50% greater chance of winning the lottery." And that's the number they focus on, that 50%, but you still have no chance. And it's the same. It's the same with the risk and the benefit. You look at that and it's like, that doesn't make sense. If you're not going to get a heart attack anyway, why take a statin? That's the thing.
Yeah, true. Okay, got a little comment from Metabolic Paramedic. Thanks for the inspiration, you 3. Really battling with food and carb addiction, despite what I know. You're a great inspiration to all. I agree.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I did see a question earlier. I think it was from Donna. She said, for lines, what meats do you stick to? So obviously she wasn't aware. So it's basically ruminant meat. So it's multi-chamber stomach animals like cows, sheep, is bison. I think there's a few others that are
venison
in that. Yeah.
Antelope. anything like that. Moose.
Yeah. So it's multi-chamber stomached animals, basically.
Yeah, and the thing about the carb addiction, that's real. And there's a physiological.
Sorry, go on.
Oh, there's a physiological and a psychological addiction component to that. So there's the emotional snacking. There's all this you have to fight. So metabolic paramedic, I do have a video on my channel about fighting the carb addiction. So go take a look at that. It's in my playlist. You can go find it under General Carnivore, I think. You just search my channel for carbohydrate addiction.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're going to have a battle coming up,
a
Alex.
comment from Lambs. I put this. Well, I'll read it out because it does tickle me, because I am not a slender guy. I was not. I mean, I think Carl's seen some of my pictures, and maybe Larry as well. Lambs, unless you haven't seen my videos before, check some of them out. I was 203 pounds before I started carnivore. I'd yo-yoed up and down from the lockdowns and from when I was 50. So you can see pictures of me about 10 years ago where I was about 13 stone, but I just couldn't sustain it because the diet was crap. No matter how much exercise I did, even post 50, that made me depressed. I think that's why I ate even more crap, because I couldn't hit my targets. So I thought, well, stuff it. I'm just going to drink more. I'm just going to eat more. And I'm just not going to go and swim anymore, which obviously I'm a swimming teacher. So I'll read this one. As a slender guy, Alex needs to prepare for an LDL cholesterol discussion with his doctor. Okay, that's fair enough. But I'm looking at LDL at the moment. So there's some great stuff out there. Slim carnivores often have higher LDL by design. Doctors freak out about that. Statins discussions await. Absolutely. I mean, I'm ready for that. But Lambs, thank you very much for that compliment. I mean, have you guys been looking at the cholesterol paradox?
I'm part of my idea of doing the PhD. I'm very much heading towards the whole fat LDL, HDL scenario and the impacts, and that's why I refer to David Dime, because some of his research is phenomenal. So yeah, I've been looking at it, and I'm not concerned at all. What I'm putting in my body is making my body better. So no doctor can tell me anything different than that.
Yeah, I don't fear. I used to fear things. I used to fear cancer. I used to fear Alzheimer's. I used to fear heart disease. I don't fear that anymore. I don't fear it at all. I feel like if that happens, I mean, that's an act of God, because it's not from my diet. It's not from going to my mouth. I tell you that. And but I had that fear in me all the time that something was going to happen, that I wasn't going to make it, to see my son graduate high school or get married or go to college or start a career, things that I wanted to be there for. And I just felt I had no control. Now I feel I have total control. So the cholesterol thing, I'm not worried about it. And I'm going to have my first 1 year anniversary in April is my next annual VA health check, where they do my labs and they, so we'll see what they say, but I'm going to come armed and definitely quiz my doctor if they understand what relative risk and total risk is.
Love it. All right, got a question here from, I think it's Jay Chath or Chatty. How about you guys organising a UK meetup with emphasis on meat this year, so we can meet each other, meet other members of the tribe? Could be fun. Yeah, I think that's a great question, and it's the answer's probably, Carl probably knows more than me, that Paul is looking at maybe.
Yeah, Paul, the UK Carnival guy, and George are trying to pull something together. So we've got a WhatsApp group. I don't know if you'll be able to post a link to it in your after this interview, Alec. But we've got UK carnivores and one adopted American UK guy on board, and ironically, you had a recent meetup yourself in Texas, didn't you, Larry? So we want to try and mimic that. I mean, we're nowhere near in terms of the size of area that the states are, but obviously still trying to get people from the West Country, the East, Northeast, Northwest together. We're trying to find a suitable location. But yeah, that's in the planning, and it'll be on the WhatsApp group if you want to contact us, and I'll let you know what the link to the WhatsApp group is so you can join it.
We had people come from 4 hours away. And so what we did when they got there, I had a bunch of carnivore soldier gear, shirts and cups and aprons and such. And we figured out who came the furthest. The furthest person drove was 190 miles. Someone drove, but we had two that were in the 170s and 180s behind them. So we had people come from all. Texas is large, right?
Yeah.
I remember when I got to Texas the first time I moved here, I hit the border. I'm like, all right, I'm almost home. 9 hours later, I show up in my town. It's 9 hours of driving, and I'm not even halfway through. I mean, I'm over half, but it takes about 12 hours to get across Texas at 75 miles an hour. It's that big. So it's and it was quite an eye-opener to realize how big Texas is. So but so we have people from Dallas, people came from Dallas, came from Houston, came from San Antonio, and local, and we had a great meetup. We had a raffle, a lot of people won stuff. We had just fun. We just all fellowshipped and talked, and it was amazing. I recommend you guys do it, and maybe one day I'll be able to get out there for one. That'd be fun to hang out with you guys, man, for sure.
I think if you did come, Larry, we'll be intimidated if we had to do a barbecue because we know you'll be watching us.
Yeah. Gotta smoke it. Hey, I you don't have to cook my way. I mean, that's just my thing. You guys come out here, I'll smoke for you.
Yeah. Oh, I'm coming out there. Don't you worry, fella.
All right.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So, Carnivore channels. Let's look at now, guys. I can't promise I can get this on the screen, but I'm going to try and share. Let's have a preset. I'm going to try and share Carl's channel before we go. Here we go. Share screen. Carnivore Nation. And share.
There you go.
Are we there?
It's coming up.
It's trying to load.
All right. Come on.
The technology, eh?
Yeah. Nearly there. Come on. Come on. Yeah. Especially with me. Okay. So.
You want me to try to share it? I can try to share it.
There we go. We've got.
Oh, there it is. It's up
to the channel. Please do so. You won't be disappointed.
Yep, it's there. Yeah, that's me.
Obviously, like as much stuff as you can. He's got 28 videos out there, and we've got 344 subscribers. That's not enough.
No, we need to get the numbers up.
It's gone again. Oh, just pray to the technology gods. Yeah. Yeah. I'll tell you what. It's, you know what, my live stream's been fantastic tonight, and just the most important bit for me, it lets me down. Come on.
Always the way.
Hey, here we go. So 344 subscribers. Yeah, Carl's like me, he's on a video editing journey. Larry is let me see if I can put Larry's channel up. Yeah, so guys, I'd say 344. Try and well, please subscribe tonight. As I say, put the notification bell on, and I'm sure that will inspire Carl to put as much stuff as he can. Let's see. Let's get back to you guys. I won't try again with Larry's, but I will tell you guys that Carnivore Soldier is one of my go-to channels, like Carl's is. He's been putting out an interview with me tonight, which I haven't seen yet. So as soon as I finish, I'm going to have a coffee, and then I'm going to sit down for 20 minutes and watch that one before my next.
You know what
interview.
I named it? You want to know what I named your interview?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Kicking ass after 60 on Carnivore.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's the other thing I've noticed looking at this screen. Have we all noticed how our teeth are different now in terms of how much more visual when they are? Where before they were, mine always had that slight yellow tinge to them. But I've just noticed on all three of us laughing.
Yeah, let's touch on that, because one of my stories was my top 4 incisors. I had veneers put on in December 2023. Yeah, I'd been on Carnivore about 5 months. And I said to Michelle after about 2 months, I used to get like a plaque film on my teeth, which I know it sounds horrible, but I could actually scrape it off. And I did have halitosis a couple of years before that. Again, that does affect you here. And I went to see my dental hygienist, and he had to do a really brutal, hygiene clean, basically, so these veneers would be perfect. And I was getting the veneers done because my teeth were dissolving through drinking too much Diet Coke, too much soda. So obviously Carnivore spurred me on to do this. And he said to me, he said, Alex, after the initial examination I did before Carnivore, he goes, no bleeding at all. What's going on? You know, your gums look so well. Where's all the plaque gone? And I said, I've started a thing called the carnivore diet. He'd never heard of it, but he was absolutely fascinated by it. And he said he supported the same football team as me. So I started talking about stuff. And I went home to Michelle and told her, and she goes, surely it can't be the diet. And I was like, Michelle, correlation, causation, etc. But as you say, Carl, it definitely is something that's related to it, because my gum health has been unbelievable. I mean, does yours feel the same?
Yeah, absolutely. I used to get quite a bit of plaque, and I used to have to clean my
Yeah.
teeth probably 3 times a day.
Yeah.
Now, I clean my teeth still, but I don't really need to.
Yeah.
I don't have the bad breath that I used
Yeah.
to have. I don't have I used to get quite often get little ulcers inside. Nothing like that at all. It's
Yeah.
my teeth health is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. I use this more than toothbrush now. This
Yeah.
toothpick all the time. Need these. But there's actually a dentist who's a carnivore, one of the doctors.
Oh, okay.
So I'll see if I can find him and post it on the WhatsApp. But they asked him what he uses. He doesn't use any toothpaste. He just uses water. Because toothpaste, the fluoride in the toothpaste will damage your microbiome in your mouth. Your mouth has a biome as well. And every time you put fluoride in there, you're killing off the essential bacteria. So what he uses is just water. And he's like, I know I'm going to catch hell from the American Dental Association and all the Crest and all these companies making this toothpaste. But you can do just water. You can do baking soda or whatever. You can do your own. But when you use the out of the store-bought tubes, he does not recommend that, and he doesn't do it himself. And he's like, he only brushes his teeth like once a day, because it's true. You don't get a film.
Get him on your channel, Larry.
Yeah, I'll see if I can. I watched him when I was early in my carnivore diet journey, and but I can tell you, yes, having carnivore diet, your teeth are just stronger. They feel stronger. I mean, it feels strong. They're anchored in. And when I went to get some work done, because one of my old cavities filling fissured, and they had to put a crown on. And normally, every time I went in for anything, they'd say, "Oh, your gums are bleeding," and there's no blood. And you have to stab my gum to make it bleed now. And and they didn't comment on anything bad about my gums at all. They're like, "Your teeth look great." I'm like, "Great, man. Not worried." That's another thing I'm not worried about, losing my teeth. Because my grandparents had dentures, and I didn't want that. And I was worried that, okay, I'm getting to the age now, almost 60. Am I going to start getting dentures? I don't fear that at all.
No, I agree. Fantastic. Right, guys, I'm going to read out this last comment from Anne and Wright, and then I'll have to wrap it up. She says that she's heard Dr. Ken Berry is coming to the UK this year. He's speaking at the PHC conference in London. He would be a bonus attraction to any meetup. I totally agree. So I'll check out. I'll probably contact Anne after this. I don't know her personally, I don't think, but she might be a sub, and see if she got any more details on that.
Yeah, it'd be good to find out.
Yeah, interesting. So, yeah, absolutely, guys. I've had a blast as usual. It's been great. I want to thank Carl. Obviously, we've chatted before, but I've never had an interview. We must do it again, maybe on a UK group. And
yeah, it'd be cool.
So thanks for that, Carl.
Yeah, thanks for the exposure.
Yeah, Larry, again, mate, thanks for all your support. And yeah, anytime, mate.
Dentist.
Anytime.
That dentist
Larry, I hope you put the. I was going to say, I hope you. Oh, go on, carry on.
I said that dentist is Kevin Stock.
Yeah, carry on.
Stock. You can look him up on YouTube. Kevin Stock. He's the carnivore dentist.
Yeah.
Someone, Arlene Blackwood just posted that.
Fantastic.
So. Okay, go ahead. Sorry, Alex. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah. All right. Super. Yeah. No worries, mate. It's we've got a big distance between us, so we're going to have things like this. Yeah, Larry. Quick question on our chat. Did you put the little intro in for the Army chants?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. I have a little hook.
Boots up.
I always put a hook, and then I got the run. My running cadence. That's called a running cadence. We have marching cadences and we have running cadences. Yeah. And those were some of my favorite things in the military to do, is to run and sing a cadence with a bunch of soldiers. It's motivating as hell. It is fun. Yeah.
But when that intro starts, I start tapping my feet. Get your boots on and lace them up. I love it. Love it. Right, guys, I'm going to close it down there. So please say goodbye, guys, and I'll close it down.
Good to see you, Larry.
Hey, good to see you guys.
Thanks, Carl.
Thanks for having me on.
Thanks, Larry.
Bye.
Take care, guys. Yeah.
Bye-bye.
See you. Bye-bye.